Tuesday. That means it is the Doctor's Orders live stream on the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. And we do have some amazing stuff for you guys today. Man, woman, children, everybody is welcome. We're going to talk some beard product safety, frequently asked questions. We have a little announcement for you guys. And of course, we'll get off on some early tangents to catch up with you guys to hear what's going on in life. Well, first, my name is Dan, co-host of this show here. As you guys come in, hit that thumbs up on the stream if you don't mind, and consider sharing this out. I know you have some friends that might enjoy the conversation that we have today, whether it's live in the moment right now or catch a replay in the future. And I said co-host. The other co-host is the founder, the co-owner, the master himself, aka Dr. Nick. Nick, how are you doing on this Tuesday?
Well, if I'm being totally honest,
yes,
I'm doing like absolute hell because it is cold, wet season here in New England, also known as fall, also known as some people's favorite season in the whole entire world, and I'll never understand it. Ooh. Because I'm cold and I'm wet and it's cloudy, and I don't like any of it. And I'm getting my yearly. I never get sick. You know, it's like I'm the place where viruses go to die. You know. And so, like, if everyone gets sick, I will mutate and kill whatever it is, and then everyone's safe. But
that's nice.
I am not immune to ear infections and sinus infections. And that's, you know, as a kid with all those issues, that's what I get now. So it's fall. That's what I got. And I took a nice, like, half-hour-long shower before this and came back to the studio. So hopefully I can make it through without hacking and falling asleep on you guys here today. So here I am, and I feel better already now that I'm here, as usual. So
there we go. And man, look at this. You got Vince says, hate this weather for sure. Ben says, yuck, New England weather sucks this time of year. Hey, you got some people with you.
Thank God my support group is here. Because you know what? Like, there's very few people in the world that agree with me on this point, and I'm so glad that I'm among good friends here. You know?
Yeah.
I heard someone describe one time that fall in New England is like a bathroom at a 7-Eleven, and it's cold and it's dark and your feet are wet and you're not sure why.
Oh man.
It's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah. Jill says she found Sunday the most beautiful day of the whole year.
It was really nice Sunday. Sunday was blue skies. It was pretty. It wasn't raining, and it was like a little brisk, but it wasn't cold. So I actually liked that.
Yeah. So I'm right here with Jay Spears. We have the like upper 40s, lower 50s going on. I love it. I love fall weather. I don't mind the rain. I don't mind the gloominess. And we do have to put out there, you guys, Nick was a Hawaiian boy. Nick was a warm weather creature that migrated to the cold New England, harsh winter and even fall. So he grew up accustomed to that. I grew up in this.
Call poor decision-making skills and bad life choices, boys and girls.
And Vince says, luckily he works at home, so he doesn't have to get out in this junk.
Dude, you know, kind of same. I mean, I'm 12 minutes from the house. So it's like I'm at home with a 12-minute gap in between. It's just that 12 minutes. You know, I can't imagine commuting in this. Like, if I had to go and get on a train and then like get off that train once I was warm again and then walk. Oh God. Nope. Whole bag of nope.
See, Dennis and Jill liked yesterday. They thought it was beautiful.
You know, yeah. Yesterday was, you know, I guess yesterday was okay. I don't know. I kind of felt like crap, so I don't think I really noticed. One of those things where I just kind of like ignored everything. I was like,
how long does this feeling usually last for you with all the
You know, it depends. It's like, it's weird. It's, you know, this one, I still don't know if this is that or not. Like, I have not felt right since Blue Ridge. We went to Blue Ridge Rock Fest, and my stomach has not been right ever since. And we've been tested every way you can be tested. We don't have any of the things that everyone on the Reddits and the Facebooks and the Instagrams have, but it's something, because I have not felt normal since. And then it kind of rolled into this. So I can't tell if this is like a new thing or if it's that just like hitting its pinnacle of enjoyment. I really but it's who knows. But you know what though, it's weird. Like, if I blow leaves in the fall and I don't wear a mask, that's like instant sinus infection territory for me. So I didn't do that. I haven't done that yet. So I'm like, oh boy, you know, fall cleanup still coming. Might still have that to look forward to. Don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
if I get that, it's like a 2-week long kind of crappy thing. But then this, I don't know. It's just, who knows?
We'll see. All right.
I'm gonna do the thing I normally do, where I live in denial and I just pretend everything's fine, and then eventually, it will be.
And Jill says until April, he'll be feeling like this.
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, I'm gonna be just a whiny, complaining pain in the butt until it gets warm and nice again.
Yeah. So Ellie says she was born and raised in New York City, then moved to Connecticut at 20, and then out to Colorado. And those New England winters are wicked. How does anybody have any idea how the New England winter compares to the Midwest, like a Michigan winter? Because we have pretty wicked winters surrounded by the Great Lakes. We get a lot of snow effect and a lot of snow and wind, and we get pretty dang cold. But I'm curious how it's different as compared to New England.
You know what it is here for us anyway, where we are near the coast? I imagine it's actually really similar. Like, winters can be really cold, really windy, and really wet. And I think out here, what's a real pain in the butt near the water is that while it's cold and snowing, we don't just get the snow. We always get the snowy rain mix. So it's like you always have a layer of ice under everything.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys get the same from the lakes.
Yep.
So
we always have a layer of ice. Yeah. If you have a dirt road, you're just screwed. Like, there's no chance you drive in the winter.
No, yeah, like my buddy moved from like Philly area here over to Michigan, and he said it's actually like when the lake effect happens, he said it's really damn similar. He's like, it's not much different. He's like, everyone complains about New England. He's like, it's just as bad out here.
Interesting. Yeah, Jason is right off the water in Michigan, and he says it's always windy and icy.
Yeah, dude, that's same. I mean, that's about it.
And look at Mark. He's down in Florida. He says it was a freezing 65 degrees today. He actually thought about wearing jeans instead of shorts.
You poor guy.
That's tough.
Yeah. Sympathy all over the place. My buddy Beckman, my business partner on the cybersecurity stuff, was rubbing that same thing in today. He's like, "Ooh, it's like it's a little chilly." He's like, "I actually had to turn off the air conditioner." He's like, got kind of cold.
Ooh, that's
almost 60.
Goodness gracious. And shout out to G Squared. He said, jumping in to say hi. I had a bad toothache all night and now just waiting to see the dentist.
Oh, dude. G Squared. That's I'm not looking. I mean, looking, waiting to see the dentist, looking forward to see the dentist. I'm actually going to get a crown replaced on Friday. On Friday the 13th, I'm going in. Oh,
you're brave.
Yeah, you know what's funny though is this was a second opinion appointment. It was like I had the crown put in by someone. I had a cracked tooth and ended up needing a root canal and a crown. And so I did that like 5-6 years ago. It was the only time I'd ever had anything like that happen with a tooth. I've never even had a cavity that needed to get filled before that. And it was nasty. And the dentist that put it in is like a really good reconstructive oral surgeon guy. And I remember when he did it, he's like, "Oh, this is like a really challenging crown." He's like, "It's really close to the gum line. Most dentists wouldn't do it." He's like, "But I got you covered." And that crown just came off, and I ripped it off with a gummy and then bit down on it like an idiot. And like you do. And it was like, "This is a gummy," and I was like, "This is a really hard gummy. What was that?" And it's a tooth. And so anyway, I went to my current dentist, who's a different one. But since this happened, and when I went to go see him, my dentist actually retired, and his office was bought by someone else, and they're in there like in the place of my normal dentist. And she's like, "Oh no, we can't replace that crown. Way too close to the gums. We got to do full extraction. We got to break it out, pull out the root, remove the root canal, all this stuff, and then put in an implant." And the bill was like $9,500 for the whole thing.
And like out of pocket.
And I was like, I'm going to go get a second opinion. So I went back to my dentist that put it in. And again, new dentist there in that office too. But she was like, "Oh no, we got the technology. We have these 3D mapping cameras. We make the crowns right here in the back. We 3D print them the same day you get measured for it. You come in the morning, we measure it up, we install it later that day. I got you covered. Come in next Friday."
Wow.
And so $9,500 turned into $1,300, and I'm in and out in a day and I'm done. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to not go to the other dentist anymore. I'm going to start going to this dentist all the time. I'm just going to stick this one out.
And they just earned a customer, and your time is money as well. So you're saving time and money there. That's huge.
Oh, it's super huge. And I don't need to go through all the pain of an extraction and all that stuff. I was like, I felt like I won I called Jill and I was like, you're never going to guess what happened. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm in a much better mood after going to the dentist. Like,
Oh
I
my
feel
gosh.
great. Like, I love my new dentist. Her name is Dr. Sarah. I'm never going anywhere else ever again. This is fantastic.
That's cool.
And she's young, so I don't have to worry about her retiring anytime soon.
That's great. That is awesome. And speaking of young, I don't even know if I've got a chance to tell you yet, but Sam, man, she's gone through all her endos with this thyroid stuff, and they've all been ridiculous and not good. Essentially just outdated. It's just shocking that these endos, they are not pursuing the newest information and methods. It's really discouraging and really sad. Well, we got referred to this specialist, and she's young, and she's supposed to be phenomenal. And she's phenomenal because when Sam called like last week to schedule, we got an appointment at the end of March.
Oh yeah.
Her next available is the end of March.
And you mentioned that she like some opening happened, right? Did that already happen?
Yes. If it's tomorrow.
Cool.
So if anybody's out there that doesn't know this, I've said it before, but if you have a medical appointment that's a ways out, always get on the cancellation list. Always get on the cancellation list. They called her on Monday and said, we have an available appointment on Wednesday. Can you come in? Yes. So the appointment moved from March because she's having some issues and just the whole thing. And so it got moved from March to tomorrow.
Dude, that's so sick.
So excited, young, newest technology, newest information. And yeah, very, very excited to hear what this new opinion has to say and what they can do on a couple of things that have been not going so well. But for real, everybody get on the cancellation list. That's helped us out so many times. And I know people have had appointments scheduled before Sam, but they didn't ask to be on the cancellation list. So they called her.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's it, man.
Yep. Truly. And yeah. And here's another thing I thought was interesting. So Yo-Yo says, can a mildly decayed tooth ever become healthy and healed with only supplements?
I don't know.
Probably not decayed. I don't think
probably
so.
Not decayed. No, I think once it's decayed, that's just you're kind of just either like preventing it from getting worse or you're fixing it by getting rid of it. I don't think there's any reversing decay.
Right. One thing that I have noticed, at least,
but I don't know. I'm not that kind of doctor.
Right. He is a doctor, just not that guy. What I've noticed for me is seasonal change doesn't only affect my beard, it really affects my teeth. I had it when I had a last season change. I thought something was wrong with my teeth. And so I went in and they were like, what's going on? And I explained everything. And they were like, okay, we think that this just has to do with the seasons changing. Give it a week. If you have that same problem, come back to us. And it was gone. Like it went away in a couple of days.
Really?
I don't know if it's like inflammation or what happens with it, but they get like my molars I can't even remember what it was doing, but it gets like sensitive and I can like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like almost like, when you can like feel your pulse, like in something that hurts.
You get like hyper aware of like, the way, like you can like, I feel my tooth in my gum.
Yeah, exactly. And I would have that and I'd bite down. I could feel it up in like my temple and all this stuff. And yeah, it's happened to me twice. And the first time was a couple of years ago. Same thing happened. I like forgot about it. And then when they were like, hey, come back to us in a week if it's not seasonal change. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've had that happen before. And so, yeah, that was it. I was good to go because they checked it over. They're like, no, there's no cavities. There's no problem. Like we can't find it. I even did an x-ray and they're like, nope, there's nothing. You're good.
Dude, that's a trip. I had no idea. I wonder if it's something to do with like your sinuses, because your sinuses have so much to do with like your teeth and like where they're, like the swelling in your sinus can give you a toothache kind of thing. I wonder if that's it.
Yeah, I don't probably pushing on something. And G Squared. Yeah, he says, Dan, I know it. We got an appointment scheduled in December for my daughter, but crossing my fingers, we get it bumped. This ain't the first time. Cancellation list is a pro tip.
Dude, yeah. I always do that. If I want to get in somewhere quick, unless it's an appointment I don't want, when they ask me, do you want cancellation list? And I'm like, nope. If you need to bump me out a couple of weeks, just let me know.
So true. And John says, what up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
And G Squared says, is that old people who say they can feel the storm coming in their bones? Could be.
Could be. That's probably why. It's like all the arthritis starts acting up. It starts irritating your agita.
and G Squared, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more sensitive with your labeling here, please.
Watch it.
Yeah, old
Watch it.
people is no longer socially acceptable. We can say experienced. We can say
Youth challenged.
I was going for a challenge. I was like yearly challenged. No, that doesn't work. Youth challenged. Yes.
I like that.
I like that. So yeah, G Squared. I'm gonna need they're mature folks. Yeah, I'm gonna go mature folks. I'm gonna need a public apology from you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just make sure. So many people, man. You're a sarcastic guy. Do people ever mistake your sarcasm and think that you're serious on things?
Constantly.
Same here. What is it like? We're nice people. Like you really can't tell we're joking about these things.
Yeah, like if I ever say something to you that sounds like extremely out of place and mean, I'm definitely kidding, unless you deserved it. But I mean,
right. It's said he's more experienced than me in youth challenge. G Squared, you can't be too much older than me. How old are you? It's got to be only a couple of years if that's true. And I'm old. JT Steve says I'm old, but I'm not mature. Yeah, well played.
I like it. Yeah, no, it was. You know what's crazy is I actually have a pretty cool story from this weekend. I had a first happen this weekend. First time something like this has ever happened to me. It was the coolest thing in the entire world. But the day after it, I was getting ready, and I swear to God, I thought I had white paint in my beard.
Okay,
and I didn't. And I had a couple of grays pop up.
Oh.
They're there somewhere. Nope. Can't see them right now. I hit them well, but they're there somewhere. There's like 4 of them. And so on Saturday, right? Or on Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. So Saturday, we had my friend Chris Wilson stayed over. He was helping out at the shop. He stayed down this way on Friday night. So we're sitting there Friday night talking about going out for grabbing some breakfast or brunch or something on Saturday. And so, I texted my buddy that owns a restaurant called Food Court down in Plymouth. And I texted him. I'm like, hey, yeah, oh yeah, you've been there. Great place. I was like, can you get us ready for like a table for 4 at like 11:30 tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, no problem. And so I texted him again in the morning and I was like, hey, see you in a little bit, just kind of confirming. He's like, yep, no worries. Lex has got you all set up. And so we get to the restaurant and it's Jack and myself, Jack, Jill, and Wilson. And we get up there and we get to the door and it says closed for a private event. And I was like, what a good dude, man. John even setting us up with a table during a closed event. Like, what a guy. And I open the door and walk in and everyone yells surprise. And it was a freaking surprise party. Jill completely caught me off guard.
What?
All my friends were there. Like everyone was in the room waiting for me to walk in. And like for like a split second, like me being totally not one that's ever been surprised like that. I'm like, well, this is weird. Like all people at this private event, it's like all the same people I hang out with.
Wow, that's so
before
cool.
They all yelled surprise at me.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome, dude, man.
It was huge. It was so freaking cool, man. Like Jill absolutely crushed it. Like I had zero idea to the point where even when I saw the closed for a private event sign, still had no clue. I just thought my buddy was like giving us a table while he had a private event.
That's so cool.
Me being completely oblivious to the things around me.
And yes, Jill, I can't wait to see those. Please get the pictures over. Dennis is laughing.
yeah. Dennis was there. Dennis was there sitting at the bar waiting for me in there. And
that's
it was
cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Really cool,
man.
Awesome. Well, other things, speaking of events and news, Nick, do you have any news for the people that might be interesting for them to hear?
I do believe so. Yeah. So, in case anyone, so people have asked this a bunch of times and you guys encouraged me to do it. So this is one of those examples of something where it's not a product, right? But just like everything where you guys want something for long enough and we're like, okay, we work on it. Everyone has suggested this for the past year and asked me about it. I've never done it. But some of you will be happy to know that I'm entering as a contestant in the 2023 Honest Amish National Beard Competition, the Beard and Mustache Championships in Daytona, Florida, on November 4th, Saturday, November 4th, down in Daytona.
Yes.
So I'm going to be flying down there, and I'm going to be joined by my buddy Dan here, I was like, man, I don't want to go at this alone. And Jack and Jill can't make it down with me. So I'm like, man, what if you come down with me? And he's like, done.
Yeah.
So Dan and I will both be there November 4th, all day, hanging out at the at the competition. So
yes,
hopefully it'll be a good time. I'm sure it will be. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys there.
Yes, and so I hope that you guys, anybody that's down there, Mark, that can make it out. It's going to be a great time. This is literally the national championship, you guys. So the first ever competition that Mr. Dr. Nick is entering is the U.S. Nationals, and so
I've never done one before. I figured, hey, go big or go home, right?
So cool, so dang cool, and I don't have it official for you guys yet, but I do hope to have an announcement about this competition coming up and during this week. I will not be a contestant. I can tell you guys that, but there might be some exciting news coming soon that could be great for my platform, that could be great for this platform, for Dr. Nick's, and just great for the community as a whole. And oh, there's a Buc-ee's in Daytona. Oh man! All right, we're gonna go get some content.
Wow, we're gonna need to go get a picture with the beaver.
That's so cool. So Jill said, "You better bring home some Buc-ee nuts,
Buc-ee balls,
yeah,
whatever the hell they're called."
And Darian says, "With those beards, you get to go to the big leagues." Yeah, you skipped the minors and you went right pro.
I guess so, man. I don't know. So it's going to be, we were looking at the categories and it looks like I'll be entering. It's a good category for me actually, because I think I'm right at like 22, 23 inches, something like that. And so there's a category that's actually right in my sweet spot. It's it's 18 to 24 inch groomed beard. So
that's awesome.
They have groomed beard styled mustache, but I haven't messed with much of that yet. So I don't want to, make my debut of mustache waxing. I want to make friends with the Death Grip guys and see if they want to maybe, work with me for next year. Right.
Dude, that's hilarious. The company, let's see if I have it here. The company literally just commented. I couldn't make this up. 58 minutes ago, Death Grip I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. They just commented on my video.
That's awesome.
The company. So too funny. Yeah, we'll make sure we get that connection made. And Ruben says Dan doesn't want to blow the competition away by entering. No.
That's what it is, man. He doesn't want to show everybody up, guys. No. Dan's a really nice guy. I don't know if you guys know this, but I mean, Dan's a really nice guy. So like, he doesn't want to come in, just like drop the beard on the table and everyone else just leaves. It's not fair. He knows that.
I would not win. Nick has a fortunate position where obviously he has a great beard. He's got that red color. The mustache is so unique and pops. But if Nick were to create a contest like category for himself, it would be that category. Like
it would. It'd
right
be
now, you don't want to mess. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the 3-foot beards, and you don't want to mess with like the crazy mustache like pros and stuff. Like you have the category that is like tailor-made to you. My category would probably be like 6 to 12 inches. And that's a gladiator match of a category with just, man, unbelievable beard. So I do not think I would win, but I am so excited to go meet people, to go see people that we already know, to literally hang out with Nick. We'll be staying the night there on Saturday night. So we'll go out and hang out and have a great time. And so I'm just excited for this. And here's your mom. Great question. So in a beard competition, I have judged many. I've judged many competitions. I think I'm in double digits now. It's from the bottom of your bottom lip down to the length of your beard. And it's just how it lays as you approach the table. So you're not stretching it. You're not doing, because people ask that, because Nick and I don't so much, but a lot of people have super curly beards and super like pigtail curls, and it's way longer than it appears. So you can't stretch it or pull it. So the bottom of your bottom lip down to the length of the beard. That's a great question, Julie.
Yep, I actually asked that same question, Mom. When I was texting Dan, I was like, "Wow, I'm so inexperienced at this. I don't even know how they measure the beard." And the way I asked was actually, if you can imagine, kind of off color and funny about how to measure a beard.
Involving measurements. Yeah, gotcha.
Involving male measurements.
Yes.
But it was cracking me up. But yeah, it was. I learned for the first time bottom of the beard. So I was like, bottom of the lip. I like took a little. I was like, okay. I was like, right at, I think I was at like 22 and a half or something.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you guys are curious and you ever want information, you could type in on YouTube how to measure a beard. And then look at our guy up at the top there. Hey,
Look at that.
got a video on it.
Imagine that. You've covered this before.
Right. A random obscure topic about beards.
Yeah. So strange. I would have never guessed.
So true. And Leo says, good luck on the competition. Looking forward to the announcements. If they have cake, please pretend it's for my birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you got
so
it.
good.
So we need to sing happy birthday to Leo at one of those videos, I'm guessing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Leo, is
November
it the 4th is your birthday? Very cool. And yeah, I do have a calf competition, but that's not till the night. It's actually a real late night.
Yeah, it is. That's it is. It's 21 and up. And it starts at 11 p.m.
Yep, for
it's
sure.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, happening in the lobby of the beachfront Hilton that we're staying at. So I think that's actually a thing.
I thought it was at a different location, and there was like, that's another
bouncers.
Story.
Yeah,
and there's a buffet, I think, at times. Yep.
Yeah, and you're expecting tips.
Yes. So I don't know why it's there, but that's what they said. So, and they invited me personally.
That's right. And then the only attire required that they specified was a bow tie. That's really weird.
This competition got weirder by the day. Like,
it really did.
And JT Steve's adding to, he said, did you figure for the adjusted length?
Oh, right. Well, the adjusted length with, obviously the slope and the droop, and you have to make sure. I mean, obviously.
But I think you're still in the right category. So,
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No doubt. Should go to Circus of Whiskers. So I usually do. So Detroit has a big competition every year called Circus of Whiskers. And that is a wild time. We may have to get you out here sometime. They do like competitions between the different categories. They do burlesque shows. And they're burlesque of all shapes, sizes, men, women. Like it's an interesting time. They've had fire breathers. It's a wild competition.
Wow.
If you go,
I might have to bring back my Marilyn Monroe dress for Marilyn Mosh Pit for that one.
Yeah. And look at Jason's Ben. He goes, it's crazy. The only thing Otto, man, you should go. Well, I'll message me and I can get you dates and stuff. It's another buddy of mine in Michigan. You should go. That would be a lot of fun. Me and Jason have been before. It's crazy. It's a crazy time. Yeah. And
that sounds
Circus
really cool.
of Whiskers in Detroit. And that's about all I can say is it gets wild. So like guys, November 4th, and it is Leo's birthday that day. Leo, we're gonna bring home the trophy for you.
That's it. Bringing it home for Leo. I'm gonna take some of that birthday luck with me, Leo.
Jacked Up Leatherworks is going to be there. Another Michigan. We got Michigan representing. And hey, drop a comment, guys. I do this on Mondays, but it's kind of cool to see here. Where are you guys from, if you don't mind sharing? I know we've got at least 3 or 4 Michiganders representing. We got several in your area representing as well. So awesome. And beards are measured from the bottom lip, even when there's no soul patch. That is correct. Only for short stubble beard is it measured by the length of hair. That is correct. And usually they don't measure stubble. They just kind of put that in a category.
Got it.
All right. New Hampshire. What up, Jim? Shout out.
Tampa, Florida.
Awesome. So
holding down that Florida man role.
Yep. If you guys are able to make it out to nationals, please do. It's gonna be a great time. There's gonna be a lot of familiar faces. You can see us, talk to us, and man, if you know Nick and I, we enjoy talking to people. So we'll be bouncing around, meeting all sorts of people, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's really gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait.
So that private event, was that this last weekend, Nick?
Yep. That was Saturday.
Awesome. So with that, pretty dang good weekend.
Oh, dude, you couldn't have been cooler. Like literally felt like the bee's knees on Saturday. Just seeing people, all coordinate something like that and have it all work out. I mean, food was amazing. Jill loaded the place up with cookies. I went into a sugar coma later that night. It was fantastic. And then, we kind of just had a lazy do nothing Sunday afterwards. We actually watched a couple of movies on Sunday, which never happens.
Wow.
And so that was pretty cool. We watched a movie that I still don't understand called Reptile on Netflix.
Okay.
Benicio del Toro, and it was I think it was good. But if you asked me what it was about, I'd still tell you that I actually don't know. It was one of those movies that had so many things moving, and then there was a twist it was working up to, but the twist was so obvious that you're kind of like, did I miss it? And did I really just wait 2 hours for that to happen?
Interesting.
And I did, but it was good. Of course, I
Okay.
was getting some work done while we watched it on the laptop and getting some photos edited and things. But hey,
If you guys have watched it, Jill wants your feedback. Vince watched it, but let us know. What were your thoughts on Reptile?
it was interesting. And then we watched American Made, which was freaking awesome with Tom Cruise. It was back from 2017, but I'd never watched it. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was about like he worked for the CIA, like moving guns and moving drugs in and out of like other countries. And the CIA like basically gives him like this whole charter to keep doing it. Then he gets busted working for them and ends up working for like the White House doing it. It was pretty good.
Okay. And Vince
It was
liked
just
it.
yet another movie with Tom Cruise as a pilot, since clearly that's what he wanted to do with his life instead of acting.
Oh, and he loves his airplane stunts.
Oh, that he does.
Yep. And he makes sure he does them himself.
He does. He makes sure that you know it too. That's for damn sure.
All right. So Vince liked Reptile. Jay Spears says he watched it last week, slept for part of it, didn't get it either. Go figure. And Ben's wife loved it. He hasn't seen it yet.
Okay. American Made is such a good movie. Dude, yeah, it is a true story, Banana. It's really good stuff. It was really cool. I love movies that are like that, because you're like, how much of this is embellished versus how much of this is real? Like,
right. And I saw this. I don't know if you saw this, but today is the last day to request a refund from Blue Ridge.
oh, your last day to request a refund for preloaded money on your wristband, not last day to request refunds for your tickets, which they are still ignoring requests for.
So if you put money on your wristband to like buy things to have it as like a payment method, and essentially the stuff was so bad you couldn't really spend it, they're allowing you to refund that money.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, but I mean, like, who does that? Like, it's not like, link a damn credit card to it and spend it as you go. Don't give them your money ahead of time.
Right. Because then you have to spend it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
interesting.
Of course, it was funny too, because like I was sitting there and those festival wristbands just really need to work on their security of their RFID tags, because I was able to pull and look at the codes with I was able to use a flipper to actually like take my wristband and then pull the RFID codes off the wristband, and they didn't even hide their keys. So you could have just changed any one of the numbers and just republished it, and you could have been swiping someone else's wristband like all day long at those places. So if anyone's listening here, no private keys stored locally on the RFID device. Like, you keep those keys separate. Okay.
Interesting.
Bad
Does that
idea.
go for like Disney wristbands and stuff like that?
Yeah, so people have scanned those and they say they do hide them on those pretty well, but it's like this one brand of festival RFID, for some reason they never removed the actual key that lets you create new keys and put them back on, or change it to another key that you find. So have you ever seen any weird charges pop up on anything on a cruise ship or anything else, and you got like fest events on the bottom of your bracelet? Just know that someone probably scanned your card and has been swiping it for their drinks all day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. I did not do that, although I could have.
You're a good man. You're a good man. I have a feeling there's a lot of things you could do that you do not, out of being a good person.
Yeah. And I don't like the idea of like, jail. So that keeps me away from doing a lot of those fun things.
Yeah, you are jail challenged, we could say.
Yeah, I am. I wouldn't get anything done. You know, I'd be sitting there just, no laptop. What am I gonna do?
Yep. Not going down that rabbit hole. No way.
No, not doing it.
So none of that sounds safe. Speaking of it, with a beautiful transition here. Today, we wanted to talk about product safety frequently asked questions. And especially people that have been using beard products, that love beard products, there may be something that's in the back of your mind you've been wondering about safety-wise. And we are entering the new beard season. What do I mean by that? More people growing out their beard with the fall weather, with No Shave November coming up. And so this video lives on forever. So people can come to this and watch. We can reference this. And we just think it's really good information. And so if you guys have questions about product safety, drop a comment right now and we will address them, and we'll kind of hit some other questions that we've come up with and some topics. But we want to hear from you guys. Is there something that you've always been wondering about, whether it's essential oils, the carrier oils, the bottle, whatever the case may be? Let us know here. And to give you an example, I like to kick it off with water-based products. because water-based products are by far the most potentially dangerous product that live in the beard world. And the reason why is water. Water, when it's stagnant, when it's sitting, can get moldy. It can go bad. And people might say, well, what's the real danger there? The real danger is if somebody has asthma and they're washing their actual face, surrounding their nose, surrounding their mouth, and they're putting a product that they are adverse to that has mold, that can cause some real serious issues with their lungs and with their breathing, like actual hospital-like issues. And so that's why when you see a water-based product like a wash or a conditioner, there may be some ingredients on there that you can't pronounce or that are scary. And oftentimes I've heard people say like, hey, if you can't pronounce it, don't use it. Or, hey, do you see all those scientific-y words on there? Don't use it. No. If it's a water-based product, it should have words that you don't really know. It should have words that are not just oil or butter, because you need preservatives. You need these ingredients to make sure the product works, but also to make sure that it works safely. And if a company truly is making their own water-based products and not working with a lab, not working with a consultant, not doing that, I really hope they have a deep understanding or a deep background with chemistry and working with these types of products, because it's so easy to go wrong on that. Oil, let me be honest with you guys, setting fragrances aside for a second, you can't really mess it up. If you get a bunch of natural oils together, it's going to be fine. It's going to work for some people. It may not be personal preference, may not be the greatest thing ever, but you're likely not going to hurt anybody outside of allergies. Water-based, it is pretty much the opposite. Unless you really know how to work it correctly, you can hurt people. And so that's kind of the stuff that we want to go over today and kind of want to talk about today, is being able to develop these things and really, really, really understand. And here's a perfect example of when we're talking about these products here. You'll see something like an ingredient list like this, right? Most of you pronounce that first one in the chat. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's exohethylglycerin, but
of course.
I mean, it just rolls right off the tongue. I'm not sure.
Of course. I mean, you see it all the time. It's so common, and it's just in our natural language. But these are certified, eco-friendly, paraben-free preservatives.
Yep.
Now, you need preservatives in water-based products. Unless you're making it for yourself and it's going to be used in a quick, timely fashion, like very quick, that's a different story.
That day.
Right, that day or the next, right? Like literally think about sitting water out on your shower niche. That's not good, and that's what these products are. And so to have things like this, you want to be able to use those. And then, right, you see these, and I see all the time people like, I made a post about a product the other day, and somebody on Facebook commented, they're like, ethanol, fun. And I'm like, listen, that's a preservative. It's actually, in my opinion, the best preservative that's out there. And then they're like, well, it'll say this online. It'll say this online. Oh man, here. Okay. Here we go. Big topic. Are you guys aware of those apps that you can scan the barcode of like your foods, and it'll bring up like a like red, yellow, and green, like this ingredient will give you cancer. This ingredient is known to do this.
Oh yeah. You basically can't eat anything according to those apps.
Correct. Right. But here's where it gets even worse. If you scan cosmetics, please get rid of that app. It is utterly worthless for this fact alone. You'll scan it, and one of these will probably trigger as, hey, potentially irritant to skin. Hey, potentially this. You guys, the ratios and the potencies of any cosmetic product in the United States of America is proprietary. Companies do not have to share how much they use of an ingredient. We know that the ingredient list matters, but let me give you an example. The first ingredient could make up 99% of the bottle, and you could have 30 things after it that all are within 1%.
Yeah.
That doesn't tell you anything. So when you scan those things and they're like, oh, this ingredient is terrible, it will really hurt you. I actually had this full debate with someone recently. They're like, what about this ingredient? And then they sent me like a copy and paste thing from Google that was like, this is an irritant to skin and can be adverse to many people. And then I copy and pasted that, found the article they pulled it from. I'm like, hey, the one thing you forgot was this article. The next sentence said, when used in potency of 25 to 40%. I said, I happen to know this product because I helped develop it. It's less than 1%. And here's an actual PubMed study to show that it's safe in these potencies. Like, those apps are absolutely atrocious, and they don't tell the whole story here. And this is kind of on the opposite side, something that
Yep.
seems like it's a safety concern, but it's not actually. And
Yeah,
so, yeah,
you're dead on. I mean, if you look at what makes all liquid soaps, right? It's sodium hydroxide. It's NaOH, and that stuff will melt your skin off. I mean, if you
yeah,
use it in a non-diluted way.
right.
And it's part of the saponification process. Like all hard soap is made with lye. You look at soft soap, it's sodium hydroxide. It's another type of caustic soda,
A
right? And
reaction. Yep.
so and that's what eats oil. And then the byproduct of it eating oil is saponified oils, which creates soap. And so it's science, but I mean, if you make your own and you leave some of that sodium hydroxide in there and you don't pH it to make sure it's all out, there's an old test. If you don't have a pH meter, for example, and if you read like old school soap making books, there's a lot of them out there. There's one called, I think it's called Sunflower, I read a long time ago. And its way, before there was electronics to test soap, their method of testing if your liquid soap was all the way saponified was the same way you test a 9-volt battery. You take a little bit of the soap and you put it on your tongue. And if it tingles, it means it's not safe to use yet.
Oh my gosh.
So think about that, right? For the longest time, people were making soaps with lye, sodium hydroxide. And the only way they were testing it was, does it tingle? Yep. Okay. Don't put that on your skin yet. And so you look at where we've advanced since then, right? And if you see sodium hydroxide on a label somewhere, you're going to be like, well, that's dangerous. That's drain cleaner. But in the right conditions, less than 1% residual with the proper pH balance, it's a natural byproduct of making any kind of soap in the world. But if you Google it, it would show toxic, skin irritant, severe chemical burns possible. Do not use without gloves. And you're like, I'm not putting that on my face. But little do you know, it's in every liquid soap you've ever touched.
And it's such, man, I say this a million times because people will ask questions and we can context matters. Wow. And we can talk about most of these products. Once you get into water-based, you just can't have a text conversation. You cannot answer questions about these things because there is a whole process. And Leo's exactly right here. He says, you mentioned lye, right? I suppose to confirm the product is really soap. Yeah, you need to have lye. You need to have that saponification process to be soap, but there's no lye in the finished process. Exactly. It is not an ingredient that shows up on the ingredient list because it's not in that final process. However, if you know what you're looking for, you understand what is the active ingredient that created that process, and then you understand the outcome. And some things lead to a pH of 9 to 10. Others ones leads to 5 to 6, right? It all depends on what that process is. And oh my gosh, I just had a full discussion on my Facebook group about this. And it wasn't like a debate or an argument. It was just like, wow, really cool information. And what you said there, when we highlight some of these ingredients, when you highlight these, we're like, oh man, if that's in a 40% ratio, that's going to really hurt you. Yeah. You know what else can really hurt you at a 40% ratio? Peppermint essential oil. Yeah. That could send you to the hospital. But when you see peppermint essential oil on an ingredient list, there's nobody that's like, oh, that's so dangerous if it's in high concentrations. Oh my God, because it says oil. They're cool with it. But because this has like some crazy scientific name, they're like, oh no, dangerous. It's the same thing. Too much of anything is bad. Too much water can kill you. So
dude, it's been shown that too much iceberg lettuce can become toxic in your system and kill you.
Right. So, oh man, I love hearing people that can kind of like understand these things. And look at Banana Goat. He says he works with mold, and he said mold only takes 48 to 72 hours to start growing under right conditions. What would be a right condition? A warm, humid, changing temperature of a bathroom.
Yep. Dead on.
Yep. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. And so, yeah. Oh, are you ready for one for you, Mr. Nick? I got a great one for you.
Ready.
Are products with hyaluronic acid all right?
Oh, absolutely. Hyaluronic acid's good stuff.
And I learned about this from Nick and Jill. And we've talked about before, but if you could explain what it is real quick, this blew my mind.
Yeah. So hyaluronic acid is actually really, really cool stuff. It is it's a super duper moisturizer. Like it's one of those weird compounds that not only locks in the moisture that's already in your skin, it can actually draw in moisture from the air and then transmit it to your skin and then hold it there. So in humid climates, like hyaluronic acid is fantastic because it'll just moisturize the hell out of your skin where it sits. And it's also, it really helps with irritation. Like if I get a hot spot under my beard, I'll use straight blended marula and hyaluronic acid right on the hot spot.
Yeah.
And it clears it up like overnight. Like if I get sunburned or get like a rash or something.
Yeah.
But it's really good stuff. We're actually, one of the things that we're contemplating someday is an emergency repair serum that can be used just directly on really irritated spots. And that may or may not be part of it.
Jill's yelling at you right now from the other room. She's like, stop it.
Oh yeah. But don't worry. No, hyaluronic acid is great. And it's in its pure form, it's totally safe on your face. So I would imagine products that use it, that it's a blended product, it would be absolutely fine because it's really good stuff.
And Jill makes a great point. Hey, Ray. And she says it's also naturally occurring in our body, but we don't produce enough of it.
Right. And what's interesting too is that it'd be really nice if the hyaluronic acid that we did produce, like maybe came out in our sweat, because then it could kind of sit there on your skin and work. But our bodies haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Mm-hmm. And Leo, spot on. I just gotta say, I love and appreciate you guys so much because I don't often get to talk to people that can kind of like have the same kind of conversation. And Leo says, I've heard many people complain about pH 7, neutral, and aka the pH of water, drinking water. But why learn or think? It's cheaper than a gym or jumping to conclusions. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Learning, thinking, crazy. And for me, just the concept of not being married to your ideas, right? If somebody says like, I can't pronounce it, I don't use it. Do you know how hard it is to get them off that ledge? They put their heels down, they dove in. And so it's, yeah, that is really, really, really interesting to think about.
And I was going to actually say what Brennan just said too. Like if you do find hyaluronic acid in a skin product, you're definitely paying $50 to $80 for it.
Correct. And yeah, it is very, very expensive. It's very common in the use for the facial products for women. You see it a lot for their face.
If there's ever a video you see where they demonstrate putting something on your face like this, it's probably got hyaluronic acid in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you apply it, if it costs $70 and you can only apply it with one finger and you have to make this face when you do it. Yeah. Hyaluronic acid.
Yep. Sam has some, and it's very, very, it's sold.
And that's how you
expensive.
apply it, right? I'm not inaccurate there. You got to make the face or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They say so right on the bottle.
Yep. And Jill says, lip product suit. Yeah, it's very common. Like if you say it to most women that care for their skin and hair, most women know that product very well.
They do.
It's very, very common thing. So great question.
Yeah, boss hog.
Yeah. I like good essay. There you go. Too funny, man. I love that. All right. Another great question here from Warren. He says, what is the best source to understanding fragrance regulations? Warren, I'll take this one to lead off. There's only one source that really matters, and it's called IFRA. And I do have a video on it. I will link this. I think this is the best site, the best spot on the site. And it's an introduction to the IFRA standards and helping to understand. Now, if you want to get real complicated here and kind of learn essentially what it looks like, and this will be an easy way to kind of break these things down. You get, every time you have an ingredient that can use to be a fragrance of a product, you get something along the lines of this. And this is an IFRA safety data sheet. Now, the supplier of your fragrance has to provide this. Either needs to be on their website for you to be available, or they need to send it to you directly. And essentially what IFRA does is they study every part of the body and they study individual fragrances, essential oil and fragrance oils, more commonly fragrance oils, but because essential oils are more difficult because no batch of essential oils are the same, right? It's nature. It changes all the time. So it's a lot more difficult. Every fragrance oil is the same every single time. So pros and cons there, right?
Yeah.
But every part of your body has a different absorption rate and has different factors to consider. And so they study how these individual fragrances react with that absorption. So for example, you can usually use way more potent ingredients on things like solid colognes because they're made for your wrist, they're made for the back of your neck, and areas that aren't greatly impacted with absorption, as compared to something like for your underarms or for your face, because we have thinner skin there and shaving is common. So when we are looking at beard products, the only thing that really matters here is category 5B. And so this product by itself is Calla Lily. And we go down here and you'll see a really cool distinction. So for a solid cologne, your solid cologne, that's going to be essentially like a beard wax with some fragrance to it. You can have, of the total product, up to about 16.5% of that product can be fragrance.
Ooh.
Now, if you're just hearing that and you don't know much about this stuff, that might not sound like a lot.
It's
That
a
is
lot.
unbelievably loud, like unbelievably loud, where most beard products are going to fall in the 2% or less of total fragrance. Just to kind of give you an answer, even though that total percent is never legal. The legality only comes down to the individual ingredients. And so for beard products, right, we have here beard oil. That same thing that can be used over 16% is 0.72% of your blend. 0.72. Now notice they're not measuring these out in drops. They're not measuring these out in anything other than weight. Right. This is where it does become complicated right here. And I had said earlier that the water-based products are the most difficult, most dangerous. Close behind is dealing with fragrances and figuring out the proper percentages, the safe percentages, the legal percentages, let alone making it smell great. And so when people really get into beard products and you make it at home, you can have kind of fun. Once you start having to be legal, once you start having to really depend on safety, it becomes much more complicated when you pull back the curtains. And I know a lot of people are like, man, I love new scents. I love this. You guys, unless you really are in the weeds here, there's so much that goes into this. So much that goes into this. And that would be the best one, Warren, that I would say is for that.
You know, and what's interesting, and I think it's a good thing to talk about here too, it's good transition actually, is, you know, with essential oils, one of the things you have to keep in mind, and this is actually a really good point for everyone that knows and loves us. Some people don't know this about us unless you've experienced this issue, is that if you are sensitive to a certain plant out there, right? If you're sensitive to pine, if you're sensitive to maybe you have a allergy to lavender, you know, whatever it might be, right? You know, if you pick a scent profile that has one of those botanicals in it, chances are you're going to have an allergic reaction to that beard oil. And it doesn't mean that our carrier bugs you. It doesn't mean that essential oils bug you. It just means that whatever is in that botanical that gives you an allergy, that could carry through into the essential oil. So we've had people that say, hey, I didn't think I had that severe of an allergy to evergreen, right? But number 7 really gets me. The pine in there just makes my face irritated. And so, as you guys know, we offer a money back guarantee for first time buyers. If you're trying us for the first time and you pick the wrong thing and you want to swap it out or return it, we offer exchanges and returns for that first time purchase. Now, the only exception to that we make is because we know we are offering a botanical product that's all natural. If anyone ever has an allergy issue with one of our products, it doesn't matter if it's your 20th order and you've tried something new and it gave you a reaction, we'll 100% let you give that one to a friend and we'll send you a replacement for something that works for you. And we don't really advertise that, but we talk about it a little bit with people when the issue happens. And people are usually really blown away that we're willing to do it. And for us, that's, you know, we want people to enjoy our products. We don't want to have a safety issue. And if it's one of those things where you didn't know it was going to bug you, you know, you wanted to try something new, because we work with you on that. So, and we know it's just the nature of our products, right? We're going to have variances. We're going to have things that react differently with different people. So we make sure to keep that super fair and super safe. So just always keep that in mind, though. You know, when you're ordering something that's essential oil based, really read the scent profiles, because if the scent profile calls out something that you could be allergic to, you probably will be.
Yeah, and I love that. Thanks for that beautiful transition, because we actually talked about this last week, and Nick was like, literally, he's like, I know we have a safe place here. I know we have people in this stream, this community, they're not going to take advantage of us. And we were talking about the new scent releases. Nick was like, and I don't even know if he remembers this, he was like, I want to make sure we tell this group, that they can try these new scents worry-free. Even if it's not your first order, I want you guys to try them and not have that worry of an allergy or anything going wrong. And that if something does come up, like Nick said, he'll make sure you guys are taken care of.
Yeah, we'll definitely take care of you guys. You know that, though.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right, and then a couple of great. I'm gonna go kind of quick fire on this one here, and Brennan, you're right up my alley. And so, and let me hit this one first. He said, so if a beard oil scent lasts from the morning till the next day, are they not following the guidelines? So this is really tough. Let me break it down here. So Jill says that their blends range from about 0.85% to 1.8%. Now, there is no legal limit for total percentage of any blend of fragrances in the world. That doesn't exist. There's
Right.
suggestions. Most should stay under 2%. However, you can find something like if I look up a certain version of cedar wood, it has a legal potency of 100%, meaning you could take that essential oil, label it as a beard oil, and sell it. It's not going to be great. It's not going to do good things for your beard, but you can be fine and you can be 100% legal.
And you'll smell it for a week.
You will smell it for a week. So, Brendan, in this situation, there are legal ways to make sure it lasts the next morning. And then you have another great follow-up question here. A step further, one of the major differences of essential oils and fragrance oils, essential oils are much easier to absorb into your skin and into the hair as compared to a fragrance oil, which is more likely to stay on top of it and leave a little bit of a film or a coat on it because one is natural and one is created in a lab. Now, what happens when you have that film and coat is it dries. Once it dries, there's not a ton of scent that's left. How does it come back again? You get it wet. And so oftentimes you'll see with heavy fragrance blends that the shower the next morning, it'll kind of come back to life again. It's because that fragrance never absorbed into your body or your skin. It just sat on the surface. And so that's why it comes back again. So are there companies not following the guidelines where it's way too long? Yeah, for sure. There's companies measuring by drops. I know that for a fact. That's them. That's their business. That's their risk, right? But there are companies doing it legally where you definitely can, you can have it go into the next morning. That's not my personal preference at all. I don't think it's Nick's preference. I don't think it's Jill's preference. And I know it's not a lot of yours, but some people like that. So, hey, more power to them.
Yep.
And Ruben says, is EO more dialed back the amounts that can be used because of the difference of the batches? So to go into super detail here, fragrance oils get a lump like fragrance. It'll say, hey, you can use 0.78% of this fragrance, and that's locked in forever.
Yeah.
Real essential oils should be evaluated with every batch, every round. That's done by the supplier local, like luckily, not the beard product company.
Yeah.
And it can actually depend on the different, what's the proper word? The different properties of that oil. So sometimes there can be a property of something like a grapefruit oil that is higher 1 year. And so it adjusts. So no, but it changes literally every year with essential oils.
It does. Yeah. We have to keep an eye on that.
And it makes Jill's job really difficult to kind of keep up with that and stuff. But staying within a range like that gives Dr. Nick's a really nice grace period to be within that legal limit, where a lot of companies are like, let me go up to the absolute tippity top of the legal limit. Dr. Nick's is likely under it on all of them, and it gives them that safety room, which I would recommend any company to do.
Yeah. You got to have a little buffer for variance. You do, without readjusting your formulas every time you get a different data sheet.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And Ruben wants to know, how do you sanitize the sweat secret ingredient?
How do you sanitize the sweat secret ingredient?
I don't know. Is that about maybe the beard sanitizer?
Maybe. How do you sanitize this?
Ruben, let us know on that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Ruben, but the sanitizer with the hypochlorous acid. I mean, that's awesome stuff. Maybe we're talking about that.
He said it was a joke from one of the last streams, putting sweat into it.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Yep.
Got it.
That's our bad.
Got it. Yep.
Well played.
It's really a distillation process. It's triple distilled sweat
through Nick's beard. It's just layers of filtering.
Yeah, it's like a cheesecloth.
And another great one here, Brendan, and I'll let Nick touch on it after my quick intro. I know essential oils are harmful at high quantities. They can be. Yep. Can fragrance oils also be harmful? Yeah. Now it's usually in a different way. The main worry with essential oils is number one is allergies, right? Because it's a natural product. And then number two, some of them are just pretty abrasive, like peppermint essential oil and stuff like that. The other side, fragrance oils, it's more of an irritant, and it's more of it being kind of like a foreign substance that your body isn't recognizing that becomes dangerous, and is literally the reason why we are here today on this platform and with this company is because of the experience with Nick and the fragrance oils.
And you know what's crazy about that too is yes, there's a toxicity on the skin, but I would not recommend this, right? But there are people out there who ingest essential oils for various health reasons,
Yeah.
right? They do it. There's a huge
For generations.
Oh God, like they put them in teas, they put them in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually, it's really funny to note that if there's no allergy issue, you can actually ingest most essential oils, where you cannot ingest any fragrance oil for the most part unless they're flavor oils. Flavor oils are obviously made to be consumed and are very, very similar to fragrance oils, and some of them are interchangeable. But you know, it's an interesting thing. The bioavailability, it doesn't really exist on that side of the table like it does with essential oils.
Yeah, that's definitely a whole loaded one. And that's when you get into like the example of like vanilla or tobacco. And we talk about the flavoring, we talk about the essential oil, we talk about absolute. There's a whole
there's a whole world there.
Yeah.
And there are some crazy people out there that do some interesting things with all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And Jill said they had a lot to learn on how to be able to use it safely and topically. She took a short course on how to stabilize and dilute it. And and she said, I look like Will Hunting every time I have to.
Yeah. It was totally Goodwill Hunting on the board down here when we were figuring out dilutions and ratios and how to use hypochlorous acid. It's nuts.
That's next level. And yeah, I agree. I don't recommend that.
Agreed. That's why I said I don't recommend you do this, but there are people out there who do.
And Brendan has one last question. He said, I've seen peppermint essential oil, and recently I saw a company saying they're using peppermint supreme. So that is a type of essential oil. So there's a bunch of different categories. Peppermint essential oil, they do have one that's called supreme. And then again, kind of you look at like tobacco. You can look at tobacco absolute. That's different than the normal tobacco. There's other categories and things. So Brendan, that actually is something different than just your normal peppermint essential oil.
That is a thing.
Yeah. Now, is there marketing involved with using the word supreme? Yeah, I'm sure there is. You know, there's probably something to that, but there is a difference there. And and I would say, man, I'm glad we were able to go over these as we wrap up here on that little bit of OT extra time, which is crazy that that's an hour. But talking about the water-based products, talking about the fragrances, talking about some of the things that you guys were asking, such as hyaluronic acid and stuff, that's exactly what we wanted to go over. That's exactly what we wanted to talk about. There's a lot to this safety stuff, and it's usually more than what meets the eye. And I love how serious Dr. Nix takes this and how into it they are. And like I said, Jill, she was like, I'm going to take a course. It's not like, let me just throw this stuff together. It's the commitment to making sure you guys are safe. The commitment to like staying true to why this company was created.
That's it, man. I mean, that's it. Really. I mean, we started this for people who had sensitive skin, who couldn't use other products out there. And so, I mean, we really have to stay true to that with everything we do. Yeah. Because we don't want anything to cross that line of it being something that's too harsh for people with petal soft skin like mine to be able to use every day. Yep.
That's truly what it's all about. So you guys, fantastic questions today. Holy crap. Those were on point, and
nice
comments and add-ons. I just love being with you guys. I've said that, I think, 3 times today, because it just, in my head, I'll leave these streams, especially these Tuesday ones, and I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm okay. I'm not alone. Like my brain is not like completely, because sometimes I'm like, am I in cuckoo? Am I just nuts? And then I'll come here and I'm like, okay, people understand.
Good company. If you're nuts, we're all the same kind of nuts.
Yeah, I love it. And maybe we're pistachios. Who knows? I enjoy those.
Pistachios are fantastic. You got to watch out with the ones that are already shelled for you, though, because you eat too many of them. They're not like you need to make it a project, or else you eat too many.
They're not even enjoyable at that point. It's like so quick, and they're so fatty. You want to take your time. It's like crab legs. If you got rid of the shell and the crab legs, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it as much. No, you got to work for it. It's part of the project. Right. Now my steak, I'm okay with not working for my steak. You can just present that to me seared, medium rare, and I'm good.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, guys. So November 4th, we will be at Nationals. Next week, we will have another show, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern. The following week, guys, we're going to have a pretty cool guest on the show. So it'll be kind of like an interview, get to know somebody, guest that you guys will know. And I know for a fact you're going to learn a lot of really interesting things about this person. So that is on the 24th, if I remember. Yeah, 24th.
Yep.
So be here for that one, guys. It's going to be really good. And we're going to have another fun show next week. And before we get out of here, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. And let's make sure we're helping people as they enter this new beard season. Encourage them. Recommend great products like Dr. Nick's. Recommend great content like this channel right here. And I appreciate it all. So thank you guys. Nick, send them home here.
Oh man, you know what? On one note about that stream on the 24th, don't get lippy with that guy, because I'm pretty sure he can kick all of our asses like through the computer
in many different ways.
In many different ways. Yeah, exactly right. You guys will figure out why here, but you know, I'm gonna be on my best behavior. I think you should too.
Yes.
So anyway, but man, thanks for joining us, guys. Awesome questions, like Dan said. What a cool session. I'd love to say I feel all the way better mentally. I do. Physically, still like heck. Probably gonna go take a nap, but it's not gonna stop us from having an awesome week. I'm gonna still make the best of it. So hope you guys do the same, and we will see you next week on Tuesday at 1 o'clock.